Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for connecting to your Wi Fi, connecting to your data, and listen to us. God bless you so much. Today, I want to share with you about Christianity nowadays. As all of you, you know that Christianity comes from the word Christ-like, where the disciples of Jesus and the apostles of the early days, when they were found walking like a Jesus, having perspective of a situation like a Jesus, handling every matter like a Jesus, so they were in his footsteps. That's how they were called Christians, because they were Christ-like. So, but nowadays, Christianity is diluted, which is very dangerous to all humanity. Yeah, so I want to remind you that being a Christian is not just a name, but it's walking like a Christ, thinking like a Christ, having perspective of a situation like a Christ. For example, if someone harm you, before you respond, before you react, you first think, if it was Jesus who has been harmed, how would he respond? So when you get that answer, do that exactly. That is being a Christian. That is being called a Christian. If someone does something wrong, how do you respond? Do you respond like Jesus, or do you respond like a wicked person? How do you respond? Because no one in this world that is not has not been insulted before. Everyone has been insulted before. Wrong things has been happening to different people. But how do you respond to such a situation? Do you respond like a carnal man? Do you respond like a spiritual man? Because there is no situation that comes to you without a reason. So you have to look at the situation in the different perspective, with a different eye, with a Christian eye. You have to look at the situation with a Christian eye. How do you respond? If it was Jesus in your feet, how do he respond? You have to look to people. You have to look at people in the different perspective, in the heaven perspective, in the Christian perspective. You have to look at your neighbor with a Christian perspective. You have to see people with a different perspective, that is a Christian perspective, because the world sees people differently, but we Christians, we also see people differently. You understand? When someone does wrong to you, when someone wrongs you, how do you respond? So I want to encourage you to respond Christian, in the Christian way. Respond in the Christian way. Respond with a heaven perspective. You understand? Someone may do wrong to you. Someone may wrong you. You understand? But maybe that situation, God has a hand in it. Because Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were thrown in the fire. But God had an agenda for that. At the end of the story of the fire, all the kingdom accepted God and believed in the God of Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. You understand? So that means the fire had an agenda for the kingdom. You understand? That's why these men, they saw that fire with a perspective of a kingdom, with a kingdom perspective. You understand? So start seeing things and responding to a situation in the perspective of Christianity. Christ-like. How do Jesus respond to this fire? How would Jesus respond to this death? How would Jesus respond to this loss? How would Jesus respond to this person? How would Jesus respond? You understand? And I encourage you to stop preaching, to stop responding to the situation in the negative way on the pulpits, in the public. You understand? You are responding negatively and on the media You understand? It's high time to be Christians, not Churchians, because there is a difference between Christians and Churchians. There are people who are churchgoers, which could be good, but being a churchgoer does not mean that you are a Christian. There are a lot of people in churches who are not Christians. You understand? So your characters shows us the Christ you have inside you. The way you respond to the situation shows us, are you a churchian or you are a Christian? The way you respond, the way you react shows us whether you are a churchian or you are a Christian. So I want you to ask anyone, your neighbor or anyone near you, are you a churchian or you are a Christian? You understand?